What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Woman Wisdom, also known as Let's Keep It With Just. And well, today's video is about qualities in a relationship. Most of the time, woman wisdom would be a woman's perspective, a one-sided thing, a singular thing. But as you progress, as you grow, ta-da! We're always gonna have a second opinion in things. So this is one topic that was most requested, and this is something that I go through daily with a lot of the people that I conversate with and DM. So most of the time we hear a woman's perspective on things, but joining me today is my partner.
How's it going? My name's Phil, also known as Suspect Beats.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is Phil, also known as Suspect Beats, so you can check out his page as well. Basically, my right hand's everything. So decision making wise, it's not something that we make on our own. But so we're just gonna get into our questions. So this is where we get to hear your side of the story. Yes. Okay, first question. What's values in a relationship? Like, how do you know that someone is the one? Or how do you know whether you should get out of a relationship or you should stay in it because you solely believe that they are the one?
Personally, I feel like everyone goes through a stage in life where they meet someone and instantly they say to themselves, "Oh, this is the one," because you just find that new love instantly. Oh, not instantly, I'd say they find that love through someone, and then they just automatically think, "Okay, this is the one." But I really feel like, in order for that person to be the one, that has to be mutual. It has to be mutual. It has to go both ways. Like with me and Jess, it's I know how I feel towards her, and she knows how she feels towards me, and I know that we both know how we feel about each other.
To know solely that someone is the one, it's kind of like you both have your own. You both have to have a singular mentality first. In order to involve yourself in a relationship, you both have to have that singular part of you first, where you guys both have to understand what you value about yourselves personally and what you expect from the person you're gonna involve yourself in a relationship with. Like, you have to have standards, you have to have morals, and you have to have values about yourself. And when you involve yourself in a relationship with someone, it's like they look at your experiences, they look at your past history, they look at the things, your skills and the things that you're good at, and they evaluate that and see if you'll be suitable enough.
It takes time for you to know that that person's the one. Like, it's not an instant thing. Like you see on movies how people just say, "Oh, I fell in love with that person instantly." I truly believe, like, you need to spend time with each other. You need to know how they behave, how they act in certain situations. Because if you don't know that part of that person, then how are you gonna you have to ask yourself, am I gonna be okay if that person acts this type of way or that type of way?
It's all about being able to meet each other halfway. Like, you don't have to fully get that person straight away, but it's about like knowing that that's something that you can function with, knowing that that's something that you can comply with and like work.
I think not only that, but just accepting how that person is.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what they've been through.
Yeah.
Regardless of how they were.
Yeah.
If you really believe that that person is the one, then nothing in their past or nothing that they went through should matter. They should just matter how they are now.
But in saying that, like, to accept someone's past, you have to ask yourself if this is something that you can cope with.
Yeah.
Accepting someone is not only just yes, I want to do it because it doesn't involve me, it was in the past. I don't think this is gonna somehow involve me into it because it's already done, it's already in the past. But there are things that are gonna come up in your guys' relationship, whether it is now or in the future. It doesn't matter what stage it's gonna happen. There are gonna be things that is gonna inflict on the past. You know, it's like us too. Like there are things that we go through in a relationship. It's not always about being perfect, because we aren't really perfect in our relationship. And there are things in our past that still hinder towards that relationship. Basically determines on how well you guys are gonna cope with it, how well you guys are gonna
handle the situation.
It's also something to keep in mind that if it, you know, you can't cope, or you know you can't accept someone's past, don't allow yourself to go into it, because when you allow yourself to go into it, your mentality will change about that person. What you loved about that person will be a reason to doubt that person. Also at the same time, it's what you love about that person ends up making you double mind yourself. Like, you know, it was all like honeymoon stage at the beginning, and then later down the track it's like you can't cope with it anymore, and you drown yourself to the point where later on it may be a little thing, but little things make big changes in your life. It also turns to toxicness, and that's something that you don't want for yourself, because what you dwell in and what you place yourself in, it basically carries on towards your life. Like it's like extra luggage for you that just like wherever you go, it's basically on your back and on your mind 24/7. What do you personally think about people that get into toxic relationships and it's like they find it as a struggle to get out of it? How do you cope with that?
Getting out of toxic relationships.
Yeah, like getting yourself involved in one and then getting out of it.
There's gonna be a point in your relationship where the honeymoon phase finishes. Like with me and this one, the first few months were like, you know, it flew by so quick, because you know it was just that phase where we wanted to get to know each other. We were keen on seeing how each other would be, and you know, but then it gets to a point where it doesn't end up being honeymoon phase, and you guys will fight. But that's when you can either decide it's not going to be a toxic relationship, or it is. That's when you decide, you know, when something makes you angry about them, are you gonna try and sort it out, or are you gonna linger on it? Are you gonna like bring up your past and make that somehow relate to it? For your relationship to be toxic, it's depending on you pretty much. It won't get toxic if you don't allow it to be toxic. If you do end up being in a toxic relationship, you have to ask yourself, you know, do I want to still be in this relationship, or am I willing to sort it out so I can get myself out of that toxic situation? And then, you know, I think it's all about learning. It's all about learning. You have to learn what how each other
Yeah, basically how you guys function. And so, but yeah, getting yourself out of it.
That's the hardest.
The hardest part, because got yourself in it in the first place. But then you can't blame yourself for getting into a toxic relationship, because you can't blame yourself that this is what you expected from a person, and they were willing to involve themselves in a relationship with you, and they would say things to you that would encourage you to stay in that relationship. Like it's things like that that drive us and, you know, manipulate us and blind us into staying in that relationship. It's kind of difficult, but at the same time you have to be mindful, because a lot of us, like something personally that I can relate to is, before I got in a relationship with Moni, there are times where like you would be involved with other people, and there are times where you have relationships with other people, and at the same time, whatever you guys went through in that stage, it doesn't matter how good of a person you are, bad things and bad spirits and those kind of experiences that you went through, it would hinder on you. No matter how good of a person you are, if that's your weakness, is being forgiving and, you know, persevering in a bad situation, the things that you go through and those experiences that you face, it's traumatizing, and it passes on to even a good thing in your life. Everyone functions their own way. Everyone has their own way of getting out of a toxic relationship, but personally, it takes time. It takes time, but I feel like it's something that you need about value, and you need to take into consideration, is that you need time for yourself. There's time to dwell in it, but there's also time to forgive yourself from that situation as well. I wouldn't understand what it's like for someone to be involved with someone that's been through those kind of things, like those toxic relationships. How do you function with me
Oh, okay. This
Coming
easy.
from
This
a
is easy.
toxic relationship and knowing that I don't function the way that you want me to function, but you persevere in that
No,
situation.
this is easy.
Oh, it's easy.
It's of course. Right, if you guys don't know, she's like, she's a handful, a big handful, 2 handfuls. If I had 3 hands, should be 3 handfuls.
Yeah, but
No, but like, do you truly love this person to the point where
okay,
you want to put up?
but what if you love that person, but the situation is toxic? How do you know whether it's toxic to leave or whether she's toxic or he's toxic? But it's not really a toxic relationship, but it's just something like. So how would you know that? Because I've been in a toxic relationship, because I've been in like past experiences and like been in situations that would have could inflict you or could rub on you. Like, how do you know whether I would be the right one, that the toxicness that I went through would rub off on you, that your persevering is worth it?
I guess it wouldn't be toxic, but there would be traits of a toxic relationship in there. But that's when you need to sit down with your partner and literally just be straight up with them, tell them just straight up what they're doing. I said there's things that we both do in a relationship that either of us don't like. So I feel like if you see that occurring in your relationship, you have to deal with it right then and there. Because if you don't deal with it right then and there, then it's just gonna escalate. It's gonna escalate more and more and more. And the further it escalates, the harder it is to deal with. I don't think you can know, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of.
I think it's just a time thing. It's kind of like risk it to get the biscuit. Like, you can either end up one way or the other way. You know, if there's things in the relationship that you guys are going through and you don't like, don't hide it. Don't keep it in your, like, yeah, I'm a guy. And, you know, they say that guys, they're holding their feelings as a guy. You should, and as a woman as well. When that comes up into your relationship, you should bring up that topic so you guys know how what you guys like and don't like. Because if you guys don't say anything and you're just hiding it because you're in that stage where, well, I just want this guy to continue to like me, because you're scared that maybe if you say something, they might leave you. You have to take that risk, because if you don't take that risk, it's gonna affect you later down the road.
It's important to be a voice, and it's important to use your voice because you have authority, you have right to it. And especially when you're involving yourself in something that you want to bring happiness for yourself, you have to speak upon that, and you have to speak your mind. And when you're feeling some type of way, holding it in will drown you to the point where you start drowning yourself in your thoughts and thinking otherwise when there isn't communication. As much as communication is so important, that you guys have to have comprehension in your relationship. If there's no understanding and there's no way of making things right in a relationship, then I believe you're always gonna go back in a cycle where it's like you guys are always gonna be stuck.
One thing that girls do though, they always say, when you ask them what's wrong, they always go, it's nothing. But if you're a guy and you're listening, don't take that lightly. When they say there's nothing, bro, there's 100%, there's something going on. Whereas guys, they don't say it's nothing, they just don't say anything.
Yeah, but that's because some girls go through that stage where, us as females, like how men have their own they have their own priorities, and they have their own mentality. They have their own way of being the provider. The girl feels like sometimes women feel like they have to have it all together. They have to be the ones to figure it out, kind of thing. They have to be, I'm not saying this in a way, but they have to be the brains. That's what it's kind of like it is. I'm not saying anything, but you know what I mean? They have to progress everything. They have to make sure that everything is done on the spot. There's so much pressure that it's really hard to be open because you're more of the multitasker. You basically have to function everything and make sure everything flows perfectly. It's always in a straight line.
Yeah, but then again, it works both ways. For me personally, I thrive on the fact that I want to be a provider. Every guy should be a provider. Their dad is someone that always provides, goes to work and does, puts in the hard yards. But I feel like without a woman that knows that, they are sometimes the brain. Men, like, I'm not saying they're stupid, but men, they don't think as well as women. And I think that God gave that to for women. They gave each men and women equal things, so that in order for a relationship to work, there's some things that I might not know that she knows, and there's some things that she can't do that I can do. So it's all in a matter of you just have to sync. Yeah. It's like when you plug an iPhone in the in your iTunes, it has to sync. If it doesn't sync, you can't transfer information, right? Yeah, same thing.
I think the biggest lack in a relationship is communication and having comprehension in your relationship, because it's like you guys both have standards that you have to live up to as a partner. Like women have their own standards in a relationship to live up to as men do, and I think like there's a point in your relationship where you feel like the other person won't understand you. Like it's a point where men feel like women can understand them as women can't feel that men could understand them, because we're just completely different genders. But the important thing that we have to realize is that we all experience things, we all experience hurt. No matter if it's different, it all falls under the same emotions that we go through. You can go through your own experience, but you guys will all fall under the same emotions. You guys will feel the same way. You guys would feel pain the same. And I just believe that in order to succeed, in order to grow, in order to have a long-lasting relationship, you gotta like reevaluate yourself. You gotta reevaluate your relationship. Think about the things that you guys are struggling with, and even like, to be really honest, because this is one thing that I believe in my heart that's so important. Even when it hurts, you have to let it go. Like if you believe it's not gonna get you anywhere, but even if you're telling yourself that this is it that you can do, you have to find the willingness in yourself. You have to tell yourself and discipline yourself that you have to leave a situation if it's not going to work out for you.
What point in the relationship do you decide that?
When you know that you are breaking at breaking point. Like there's a difference between breaking point as in trying to fix things, and there's also breaking points where you feel like you're just in your own space, and that it's not a two-way thing, but you feel like it's always you, or you're just stuck in a situation.
It has to work both ways. One person can't carry the whole team constantly. I don't know if you guys watched The Last Dance, but it's about Michael Jordan. If you watch the documentary, like Michael Jordan carried and admitted himself he was mentally drained, he was physically drained because all of that carrying. And if you relate it back to a relationship, if one person does everything, if one person is putting in the work and the other person isn't, how do you reckon that person will feel? They'll feel drained. They'll make it feel drained to the point where, I don't want to do this anymore, because I'm feeling like I'm not getting that help that I need. I'm not getting the motivation that I need. I'm not getting the assistance that I should be getting. Like one thing that just said a couple of weeks back, a relationship is not a 50-50 thing. A relationship is sometimes it's 80-20. If sometimes she might go through days where she's not feeling well, and so I have to put in, let's say she's at 10%, I have to put in 90% that day. And then maybe the next day I'm going through something, or I'm suffering from something, and I'm like my feelings are at 10%. That's when she comes in and chucks in her 90%. So I truly do believe that relationship isn't just 50-50. Sometimes you have to come and just step in and fill in the rest, just so your relationship can work. If you're willing to go that extra mile for that person, then I do believe you continue to fight for that person. But only if you feel the same way. Only if you know that person will do the same to you.
I wouldn't depend more on the length that you're in that relationship with that person. I believe solely it's about, like we said, it's about the qualities. It's about the things that you value and the things that you see, the progress. Like if you feel like something is progressing and you feel like it's different to your past relationships, and you even though it's a short period of time, there's no reason for you to hold back.
You gotta know your worth.
There's no reason for you to like limit yourself on the things that you can do. If that person's willing to support you and allow you to succeed in the things that you want to do, then you know rightfully that this person is solely made for you. Like, you need someone in your life that's going to support your walk. You need someone that's going to, you know, allow you to go through progresses, things that they would feel insecure about. They will allow you to go through that, because trust is a big game in our relationship. Because if there is no trust in your relationship, I feel like most of the time you're always going to fall back on your past. Most times you're always going to fall back in the things that you experienced with someone else, and it's just going to flow in your relationship, and it's going to make it toxic. In a relationship, trust is going to be different. This is a different game. Like, personally, I don't know about him, but it's basically like a win or a lose. So trust has to be there first. You're going to trust that this person that you're going to be with, trust is there. I normally say something like this. It's more like, I trust you, but the moment you do something, that's when you lose my trust.
Yeah.
But I trust you. For me, trust is there first. But then if along the way they do something that doesn't fit what you guys discussed, or doesn't work around the things that were in that honeymoon phase between you guys, it's okay. It's okay for you to not have trust with that person. It's okay for them to work their way up to earn your trust, because trust should be one of the main things in your relationship. It should be priority in your relationship. You can't build if there's no trust. You know, when people involve themselves in like workplaces, like when you involve yourself, when you partnership with someone, trust is always going to be there, because you're allowing yourself to commit yourself fully to this person. You're putting in 100% with this person, and if they're willing to do the same for you, I don't see any wrong in, you know, what
Like, if you fall, do you trust them enough that they're gonna, you know, catch you, pretty much? Yeah, with me, I'm kind of different. I'm not, like, I get where she's coming from, but with me, it's, if you break my trust in a relationship, I don't allow that person to rebuild their trust. With me, it's just one chance, that's it. Because I don't want to waste my time. And I said that to her. If you break my trust the first time, that's it. She understands that. She understands that fully. So, yeah, with me personally, I don't know about you guys, but there will be people out there that some people will. It's all about that person, you know.
Yeah.
Because you could go through things in the past that, you know, you trust someone so much and they break it. And I really hate seeing women and men like that get cheated on when they have put 100%, when they've been you know, wanting for everything to work.
That's where it all falls back to the beginning, where it's more like you have to know your values, you have to know what you want, you have to be willing to speak your mind and speak what you believe that is most valuable to you. The last thing we want is to see someone go through a situation that we know that they could have done better. You know, they were just not even that type of person to begin with, because situations like that, whether it's like being mistreated, whether it is cheating, whether it is like you know, something personal that you guys go through in your relationship, it's very important to be open-minded about those things before you even get to that situation. Be open-minded that those things are possible, those things can happen again, because you can't predict the future, neither can you see into it. So you have to know what you really want, and you have to love yourself enough to not put yourself in that same situation again. Me personally, I guess I've just been that type of person where, you know, you've been so caring, you've been so open, you've been so forgiving, that people use that to their advantage. And, you know, in a relationship, you should never treat someone's weakness for what it is. You know, there are some things that someone is like stronger in. Like, there are strengths that I have that he's weak in, and like he has strengths in his personal life that I would be struggling with. And the things about those things is that we shouldn't use that to abuse someone else. Like, we shouldn't use our strengths to abuse someone else's weakness, because love has many forms. This is your way of loving that person. You're going to help them, you know, get through past traumas that they can't do alone, because there's some things that people can't face alone. And, you know, I believe that God always assigns someone for you, and you would know, but you have to fight your thoughts, because if you let yourself drown in that mentality or that mental state where this person will get better somehow, this person, you know, it's okay, I'll forgive him and he's gonna work on himself. You can't keep making excuses for yourself, and you can't keep making excuses for a person that is not willing to grow or is not willing to stand alongside you, because you guys are building an empire together. You guys are building something. And if one part of that structure is like lacking the effort, and it's like, you know, not putting in the work that you're putting in, anything that you guys build together will collapse. Because, you know, there are gonna be things in that side of the building that's
not supported.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like you can't see it as well. There's gonna be things hidden as well, and you don't want to go through something like that. You don't want to invest time. You don't want to invest, you know, things physically, emotionally, spiritually into something, hoping that it's gonna be something that you want, that you believe that it's gonna be something that you guys want together. But deep down, like, you know, everyone has that phase where they want it and they don't. So basically, it's important to keep your mind just open to the fact that either things can go wrong or things can go right.
Yeah.
But you know, everything's a learning progress. So whether you do end up with that person and you succeed in your relationship, or you end up with that person and it doesn't work out, at the end of the day, everything's for life experience, and experiences teach you a lesson. So, you know what you want from, you know, the next thing in your life. But yeah, it's important just to, you know, communicate, you know, understand each other, and also basically grow. Life is about growing and, you know, taking on every possible thing that there is in life, and just succeeding in those things. Whether you don't succeed in that moment, it's always good just to, you know, keep picking yourself up and keep looking forward to life. Keep looking forward to the next chapter, the next day, because I believe solely that if we just give up straight away, if we believe that, you know, if we tell ourselves that this thing can't happen for us, we can't find love, or we can't, you know, grow and become the fullness of who we want to be, we'll drown in that and we'll believe it to the point where we don't succeed. What's your advice, what's your encouragement that you would give to those going in a relationship, or going to be in a relationship, or those
yeah, for those who are growing or are getting into a relationship, know that it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies and kisses and hugs every single day. There's going to be times when
Pandora. Or gifts and chocolates and food, because girls love food.
My bank account's empty because of all the trips I'm making from to like food places.
Oh, it's a girl's heart stairs.
Nah, but for real, for those who are getting into a relationship, just be wary. You have to have enough money in your bank account for all the food that you're gonna have to buy for that person. Nah. But know that they have a past. That's one thing. You're not starting off from a clean slate. Remember that there's things that other person has gone through that you don't know of. Don't act like when you come into the relationship it's a clean slate. Nah, you have to. If you're when you get into a relationship, you have to know that in your head that person has gone through something. There's gonna be a time where that past is gonna be brought up, and it's you have to ask yourself that question: Am I gonna be okay with that? And do I feel like that this person is worth my time? Do I feel like this is a person that is worth my energy that I give out to that person? Yeah. So that's the question that you have to ask yourself. But however you answer that is the decision that you have to make. Because I'd rather not waste my time into a relationship. I'd rather not waste it. Because there's other things that you could be doing. You could be growing yourself. You could be starting a business. You could do all those types of things. But if you're trying to fight something that you know in your heart that you don't want, then don't fight for it. But if you know that in your heart that you wanna go through the deepest waters with that person, then go for it 100%. And then back again. Yeah, make sure you have enough money.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, but that's normal. Like, that's like not picky.
She doesn't drink water.
I drink water. So yeah, just, you know, it's always good to just keep your mind open. You know, love hard, but at the same time, love carefully. And yeah, that basically concludes us for today. Well, we hope you guys got something valuable from it. We hope that you guys taken something good from it as well, because everything's a life lesson. Everyone's perspective could be someone else's answer. So we hope that we answered you guys' questions, and we'll be back with another video.
Quality over quantity, mate.
always. You know, everyone's perspective is someone else's answer, so always choose quality over quantity. You know, quality in a relationship is very important. And
If you didn't know, I've only been dating this girl for 6 months. 6 months and 2 weeks, which is not far, but look, I already put a ring on it. With me, I don't like to waste time. If I know what I want, I get it. As you can see. Why wait 5-10 years to finally propose to that person? But I mean, it's up to you. But with me, I'm that person that if I know what I want, I just go for it. And yeah, lucky she said yes. Or else I wouldn't.
Did I really say yes?
I mean, what are you wearing there?
Yeah, so that concludes today. You know, we hope you guys got something useful. But yeah, we'll see you guys on our next video. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. And yeah, that's from me. It's Keeping It Gorgeous and your boy
Phil.